you're tired of getting blocked by the rim, this video is for you because today we're going to talk about
the top 5 bounciest basketball shoes.
Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucas. If you're new here, I'm a pro basketball player reviewing basketball shoes, so make sure to subscribe to not miss any professional performance reviews. With that being said, let's get straight into it. We're going to go through my top 5 most bouncy basketball shoes that can really help you jump a little bit higher. So if you're getting up there and you're really close to dunking, these shoes can actually help. We're going to go through them from number 5 all the way to number 1. So the last shoe is going to be the most bouncy. At number 5, I have maybe a little bit of a surprise for some of you. The Tatum 1, the Jordan Tatum 1. Funnily enough, all the other shoes actually have some kind of a shank plate or a very rigid shank plate. These do not. They are lacking torsional support like crazy. I really dislike them about them. I love the design, I love the colorways, especially this pink lemonade colorway looks amazing in my opinion. But the forefoot cushioning, the Air Zoom unit here in the forefoot, gave this shoe crazy amounts of bounce, and that's why they are actually at number 5. An honorable mention goes out to the Freak 4. We're so close to the Freak 6 already that I didn't want to put them in the video, but they also had a similar cushioning setup in the forefoot that made them really bouncy, even though they didn't have a shank plate. But I don't even have a pair of them anymore. I sold them, and the Tatum 1 is actually a good replacement in my opinion. If you're looking for something cheap and light on foot, go for the Tatum 1. It's a very bouncy shoe in my personal opinion. Then moving on to the number 4 spot already, we have a shoe from Li-Ning, the first and definitely not the last shoe on this list with carbon fiber. It's the Li-Ning Jimmy Butler 2. This is the Jade colorway. In my opinion, it's one of the most beautiful shoes in my collection. I really like the details on the shoe, and of course they feature a carbon fiber shank plate. It's almost full length, and what's very interesting about them is that it's not on top of the cushioning setup, nor is it on the bottom. It's embedded into the cushioning system. It's the first shoe on the market that has that. The Wave Weight 11 will also feature that setup. So essentially we have a layer of boom foam on the bottom right here. Then we have the almost full length carbon fiber midfoot shank plate right here. And then on top of it, we have another layer of boom foam, which makes them very comfortable. It's not the crazy bouncy shoe, the craziest bouncy shoe that I have in my collection, but it is very bouncy. Just look at the rebound you can get here. The forefoot flexes a lot, but the midfoot doesn't, which is very important for torsional support in my opinion. And I really enjoy playing in them, and they also feel very bouncy. Moving on to the number 3 already, we have also a little bit of an older shoe, as it's the Nike LeBron 20. Of course, these also feature a carbon fiber plate. That's why I actually prefer them over the newer model, which would be the LeBron 21, because these just have a plastic shank, at least from the tech specs. I had a follower comment that Foot Dr. Zach cut them open and they had a carbon fiber plate on top of the cushioning system, so right here. I can't confirm that. I haven't seen his video, unfortunately. Just from the tech specs, it says they don't have a carbon fiber shank plate. I think that's also something Nightwing from Wear Tester said. So I'm not entirely sure, and they also definitely feel less bouncy than the LeBron 20s. Back to the 20s, they are very bouncy in my opinion. They have a really nice cushioning setup, very comfortable. The same goes for the 21, so if you want to go for the 21s, it'll also be fine. But in my opinion, the 20 is more bouncy. As you can see, you really get a lot of rebound out of the shoe, and of course, we have the carbon fiber shank plate, we have a comfy cushioning setup, you're still low to the ground, and of course you also have great lockdown. You're really secure on the footbed. You also have a relatively wide base, which is important for jumping. Just gives you more area, more power to jump off. So these are really nice option as well. Another shoe that could come in as an honorable mention is the Nike GT Jump 2, before we had the top 2 shoes. I haven't played with them, but of course they have a crazy amount of cushioning, so they could definitely also be up there on my list, but personally I haven't tried them. I kinda stayed away from them because I'm a little bit afraid that I'll be too high off the ground. They look really like a center shoe. Of course, nowadays usually basketball shoes are positionless, just like the game is kind of positionless itself. But the GT Jump 2 is definitely a shoe that's more suited for bigger players, heavier players that need more impact protection and that don't mind being a little bit higher up off the ground, which is something I don't like as much. So the LeBron 20 is number 3 on my list. And I also have another honorable mention before we get into the top 2. It's also from Way of Weight. is the Wave Weight All CD 11 Volume 2 or also the All CD 12. They also feature a carbon fiber shank plate in the midfoot. You can't see them, but they actually have two plates on top of each other. So like one is right here and one is right here, and they overlap a little bit in midfoot, and they're also very, very bouncy and also feature boom foam, which is a very bouncy cushioning itself. And now finally heading into the top two, it was very hard to decide which shoe feels more bouncy, but I actually decided that a pair from Nike will be at number 2, which is going to be the Nike GT Cut Free. Very interesting because these do not have a carbon fiber shank plate. Essentially, they only have this little plastic shank right here, which is very, very soft, so it doesn't really provide a lot of support, and they still feel extremely bouncy. In my opinion, the reason for that is the Zoom X foam, which is my favorite cushioning setup probably right now, because the shoe is extremely light with great impact protection, and you really get so much bounce out of them, it's insane. I have 3 colorways of them because I like the shoe so much, and I really feel like I can dunk way, way easier with these on foot. I'm around 6'2" or 190 centimeters, by the way, if you're wondering, and they really feel amazing on foot. I feel like I have a lot of spring, a lot of rebound out of the shoe just when jumping up, and overall the shoe is also an amazing performer. They're a little bit more expensive. That's something I forgot to talk about with the other shoes. We have the JT1 that retailed for $120. We have the JB2 that's even over $200, and then we have the Run 20, which was also retailed $200. Maybe you can find them on sale, and these are also at retail $200, but I've seen that they've been on sale at a lot of places. If you're wondering where I'm getting my hoop shoes, I have a link in my bio, actually a link tree, where you can find all the stores that I've bought from and that also I have cooperated with. So sometimes they send me shoes to review them for you guys out there. Back to the GT Cut Free. Great traction performance also on dusty courts. Very, very nice cushioning. I talked about it already. I love the materials, very soft, very comfortable. I especially like how padded the tongue is. If you're looking for a budget version of the GT Cut Free, I can also recommend the GT Cut Academy. I actually have a pair of them right here. Give me a second. Right here to show them. But of course, they don't have the same cushioning setup, so they're also not as bouncy. You get a rebound out of them, but they're not as crazy bouncy. But if you want a pair of the GT Cut series and you can afford the Frees, then the Academy will also do a good job and actually do a better job on dusty courts than the regular GT Cut Free. Support is not the best, as I said, especially torsional support, so you can bend them a little bit, but they do make up for that in other categories. But that's also the reason why I had them at number 2, because the first shoe just felt a little bit more supportive and also a little bit more bouncy. And at number 1, we're going back to Way of Weight. It's, you probably guessed it, the Way of Weight 10. This is a low version. I also have a high colorway right here. This one I think was the South Beach colorway, and this is the Avocado colorway. Amazing performers, amazing bounce. In my opinion, the best basketball shoe in the market next to the Nike Kobe 6. But of course, these are much more available than the Kobe 6. And as you can see, they have a full length carbon fiber plate, which felt amazing. It's also bent upwards, so you don't have full ground contact. So by pressing down or stepping down, you get even more rebound out of the shoe. I'll put a close-up on screen for you to better understand what I'm talking about. Amazing traction performance. I love the materials. They're also insanely light. Great for wide feet as well, just like the GT Cut Free. They do need some braking, but after that, they also fit wider feet. And extremely bouncy. The bounciest shoe in the market, in my opinion. You really take off with these on foot, and you get definitely some extra inches for your vertical. I hope this list helps you. With that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Leave a like and comment your thoughts on my list. And if I missed any shoes, is there another shoe that should have been on this list? Just let me know. Have a good one and see you next time.